You know that feeling, right? The assumption that if something is natural, it's gotta be safe. I mean, it makes sense. A remedy from a plant just feels better for you than some synthetic drug cooked up in a lab. But is that actually true? How well does that idea really hold up? Well, let's really dig in and see what the science has to say. Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's start with a little thought experiment. I want you to imagine a scenario. Picture it. We're right in the middle of a brand new global pandemic. Everyone's scared, everyone's on edge. And then all of a sudden, the headlines are everywhere. A new herbal remedy, let's call it COVID X, has been discovered. It's made from a simple mix of plants, and it's being hailed as a cure. So, what's your first thought? Are you feeling hopeful? Or is there a little voice in your head saying, hold on a second? I mean, you can totally see the appeal, can't you? A quick, affordable solution that comes straight from nature. It sounds almost too good to be true. But this is the exact moment we need to stop and ask the really big question. What actually makes a medicine safe and effective? And to answer that, you've got to understand that we're basically looking at two completely different worlds, two different approaches to medicine. So, in one corner, you've got your conventional medicines. We're talking about things like antibiotics, surgery, chemo, and the one thing they all have in common, they are all built on a foundation of scientific evidence. In the other corner, you have non-conventional medicine, things like traditional herbs or homeopathy. And this, right here, is the absolute key takeaway. This isn't really about natural versus chemical. It's about proven versus unproven. And this winding road, it's the perfect way to think about conventional medicine. It represents a system that's been built over decades of research, testing, and super strict rules. Every single twist and turn on that road is designed to answer two simple but absolutely critical questions. Does this thing actually work? And, maybe even more important, is it safe? So what does that long road to getting proof actually look like? What are the steps? Let's break it down. Well, the journey to get a new drug on the shelf is, frankly, epic. It all starts with screening thousands, sometimes even millions, of different substances just to find one that might work. Then scientists have to figure out how to extract the active ingredient. They might tweak existing drugs or build brand new ones from the ground up. And after all of that, every single promising candidate has to face the final boss, years of intense clinical trials. And get this, for every 200,000 substances that start out on this journey, only about 20 will ever make it all the way to a pharmacy shelf. Just let that sink in for a second. The chances of success are incredibly tiny. And there's a really good reason it's so tough, so long, and so expensive. It's basically a giant, super strict filter. It's designed to weed out everything that doesn't work or that might be dangerous, so that only the very best, safest, and most effective treatments make it through to you and me. Okay, so that's the one path. But what happens when you just skip all of that? When does natural stop being harmless and start being downright dangerous? And look, you can totally understand this perspective, right? Herbal remedies often cost less, and they feel a whole lot simpler than navigating a hospital visit. It makes sense. But what are the hidden costs? And this is where things get really risky. With a lot of these traditional herbs, you have no clue what the right dose is. You don't know how much of the powerful ingredient you're actually getting. You have no way of knowing if it's going to react badly with another medication you're taking. And the big one? There's absolutely zero regulation or quality control. And believe me, these risks aren't just what-ifs on a slide. They can have very real and sometimes devastating consequences. Let me tell you about Mrs. Feary's family, because their story makes this all too real. For 30 years, Mrs. Feary put her faith in the herbs she grew herself. But that trust had a terrible price. 5 years back, her pregnant daughter took one of these remedies and suffered contractions so severe she was rushed to the hospital and almost lost her baby. And just last month, her teenage son was diagnosed with serious stomach ulcers, also connected to the herbs. This is the heartbreaking reality of what can happen with unproven medicine. So where does all this leave us? Does this mean you have to pick a side, nature versus science? Absolutely not. The real answer is found in the power of evidence. We need to completely reframe how we think about what safe medicine even means. It's not about where it comes from, a plant, a fungus, a lab. That's not the point. A safe medicine is any treatment, no matter its origin, that has been put to the test and proven to be both effective and safe.
And here's the really cool part. Science and nature have always worked together. Some of our most important medicines came straight out of the natural world. Morphine comes from the opium poppy. Penicillin, one of the greatest discoveries ever, comes from mold. Atropine comes from a plant. I mean, these are heavy hitters, absolute game changers in modern medicine, and they all started out as natural.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating question for the future. Maybe this was never about traditional versus modern. Maybe the future isn't about choosing one over the other at all. What if it's about bringing the best of both worlds together? What if we could take that ancient wisdom and pair it with modern proof to unlock all the secrets nature holds, but do it safely? What do you think?